Hi. So these are some of my neighbors, and as um, those of you who know, because you grew up in the country on a farm or have chickens in your backyard, or actually, I used to live next to some in Los Angeles on Sunset. Um, they don't just do their thing at dawn. That's a myth. It's 'cause it's not smack in the middle of the day. I mean, it's maybe 6 p.m. here or something. So, but they do it also at lunchtime and snack time, dinner time. I also have some other neighbors that are turkeys and some swans, but I haven't seen them around. They're on like the other side. Anyways, wow, it's heading towards the end of August at this point, and I feel the last time I made a video was the beginning of July, and then I had that computer crash, the literal crash to the floor, which now is just a vague memory, thank goodness, but at the time it was a little bit more harsh. And then yeah, I got that video up, the last one, so thank God that was saved. And then I just kind of stopped, which happens to me sometimes. Sometimes I get a little, I stop and uh, I let myself that this period of time has continued to be quite an adventure and rather intense, right, in the US. Like there was the protests in Portland and stuff going on with the US Postal Service right now. Elections are election season has arrived. And then just dealing with my own stuff. All of us are still just dealing with our own real lives. I mean, and whatever that looks like. I actually, quite frankly, have been doing loads of meditation. I do at least an hour every day. So I'm getting into some deep stuff, a lot of ancestral things, which is really good, but also can be pretty deep and can kind of take me out a little bit emotionally, energetically. But it's all very towards something, better. And when you have the friend that you haven't talked to in a long time, and as time keeps going on, you keep being like, it's like keeps going on too long, and you feel like, okay, I'm just not going to call. And they're like, no, I need to make this call. So this video kind of feels that way a little bit to me. And yeah, and I've been very good about keeping a balance between, we are in intense times of just when you can relax and when to, kind of, you can always push yourself a little bit at times. I think they both have their place. So I kind of told myself, okay, you must get another one out before the end of August. Let's see, where can we start? COVID numbers. They've changed a little bit in this past week, actually. But if we had talked a week ago, a lot of things. Italy was remaining really fine. Like the numbers in Spain went up, but they've kind of continuously gone up and spread throughout. France started going up, Belgium, Greece, Germany, and Italy was just like chilling. I mean, we had a couple little spots, but it was just like, uh, and some folks were asking me about it, and I was like, I think it's because we kind of took it a little bit, I don't want to say more seriously, but perhaps everyone, you don't have to wear masks outside. This all just changed. Before, you did not have to wear a mask outside. Every time you entered in a store or supermarket, you had to put it on. And that was fine. And then they just changed this because what happened now is we're getting the returns from holidays, and in this respect, the numbers are going up. So over half the cases that we're getting are coming from people who have just come back from vacation. So, and a lot of it, just like in the States, is kind of the younger kids right now. So it's sort of this wave of it. So they just, I think for 3 weeks now, all the nightclubs are closed. And then I think you have to wear a mask from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in busy areas. And again, I think that's more kind of focusing towards the younger crowds, the party crowds, as is how it is. So, and we just, August 15th for us is a holiday called Ferragosto, and it's kind of really when, like, there's kind of vacation going on the whole time, but it's the proper vacation. Busiest weeks are this, or 2 weeks in August, and we're just coming out of those. So I expect that the numbers the next 2 or 3 weeks will maybe rise up a bit from those vacation times, but other then they'll kind of go down. But then my guess is that the schools reopening, the numbers will go up again as they're showing in the States, but they're also showing here. Germany just reported cases, and I think the UK also. So this is just for those of you who are just like off your rocker, because I've been. It's. I just want to give a little perspective of what it might have looked like if the U.S. had been able to deal with this a little bit in a more sensible manner. Uh, what else? Yeah. So interestingly enough, for me, I did have plans. To go on a vacation in September. And my original plan was to go to France. And then a couple weeks ago, those numbers slowly started creeping up. And I wasn't technically worried about it because I do think that we're in that kind of portion where, when the COVID first started happening, everyone just thought, oh, here we go again, media exaggeration. And then, well, we know what happened. Right now, it feels that way to me. It's like, what is all the headlines, right? The highest number of cases since May, the highest number of cases since May, since the lockdown, since people were in quarantine. It's in all the countries. And it's sort of like, well, yeah. Yeah, because it, climaxed in March, and I was kind of still floating in April, and then it started descending. So by May, the numbers had gone down low enough so that we could start to go into phase 1 and 2 and reopen. So yeah, it's to say, oh, there's 1,000 a day as opposed to the 10,000 or 5,000 a day there was before at the height is exaggeratory in my opinion. And so that's back to that kind of news. But I'm looking at numbers and regions to get an eye, and like I said, probably technically it's fine to go into France, but I'm also being like, not totally necessary, so I will not bother for now. So my vacation plans kind of switched over, and I will be heading towards the south of Italy in a couple of weeks, and I'm guessing. Interestingly enough, and I didn't choose these places based off COVID numbers, but the numbers have been so low, very, very low, maybe even zero in one of the spots. But, because, it'll be interesting because some of the areas I'm going to are normally completely, the tourism is coming from America. Like 70% of their tourism comes from the US. So this year, it's going to be like, it's also like the shoulder season in September, so after the peak, and in a year like this. So it should be actually more pleasant. But there'll be more on that later. But yeah, so my plans are changing accordingly. Yeah, it's been these past couple months have been, a lot, because as always in my life here, I'm sort of living between two worlds. My day-to-day life is here, and I do have an atmosphere of being that is that way. But of course, I still have a heart and a brain and an emotion towards the motherland and the people I know and love. And so it's never been more pronounced than this time. And it's really weird sometimes for me, especially like a month ago, where it was all in the socials, was like my friends posting everything, like, well, my friends, people back home posting, protests and Black Lives Matters and how to fight this injustice. And it was, a stream of things. And because there was so much happening. And then my friends in Italy, it's like freedom. Like I said, no cases, have been posting vacation pictures and and funny things that, haha. At first, my first response was like, this is very serious. Like, don't you guys understand what's happening here? Like, well, it's not really theirs to take on that level, The consciousness around the world is a good thing, but, even with what's going on back in the States, there's only so much you can take in. So many causes you can be invested in and how to be. It's been trickier this period. I've actually had like people writing me, tell me they disagree with certain things I've been posting, and that's kind of taken a small toll on me. It's always been one of the reasons why I've kind of avoided doing that sort of thing in the past, and so that's been interesting, moving through that. My visa's completely up in the air. At this point, again, I'm just sort of switching gears, and I might be taking some more exams at the university, and there's just a lot of little things going on and a lot of things and not so many answers. I'm just kind of moving forward, and again, as I've mentioned in the past, like my life before COVID has been always really about being in the moment and just kind of playing it by ear, really trying to like drop into myself and feel what feels real to me and what I really want to be doing and as myself as a human and in life. And it's kind of the same thing right now. Obviously there's other circumstances, but for 80% of it, I think it remains the same. And I think that's kind of it too. And I think for those of you who are, everyone's kind of in a different phase perhaps, or like something happens and puts them in another phase. I've been dealing also with kind of the differences of oppression isn't the right word, but my own stances of privilege mixed in with the circumstance I have as being a woman, as being Asian, as being a number of other things that I haven't had a lot of advantages that a lot of people, even my friends don't realize aside from like the external, but there's been a lot of things. So I'm sort of get mixed back and forth about, my place in this and wanting to help on a bigger level. And honestly, my honest feelings, and it's been this way more or less my whole life. It's not a new revelation caused by the current pandemic that the world is in, but it has been reinforced. Is that I feel like the macro is the micro, and the things that need to be fixed out there on that big scale need to also be like addressed and I don't know, fixed is kind of I don't know, on the small scale. And so for every injustice out there that that is being caused or being received, and the things that have happened to us, the things that we've done, because no one is innocent. We have all done something, and we've all received something unjust. Is that the more we can heal it in ourselves, then that actually is what starts to contribute to the rest of it, while at the same time still being proactive in the bigger picture and choosing, your battles the way you can address it, whether it's in a private way or in a more public manner. So, yeah, so that's kind of it. I mean, I'm just sort of like floating along doing this, and all right, and then you also have to see that aside from the chickens, there is that Cornelio. Okay, so my promise is to see you sooner versus than later. I'm thinking of challenging myself a bit for September with a new little something. It's incredibly humorous because in the city, there's like, where my pal lives is like on an apartment. There's like children screaming because there's a park across the way, like like all day and all night, especially in summertime. It's just nuts. It's like always, but it's the city, so you kind of, it's acceptable. You just take it as part of what a city is. And so the joke is these guys right here. They're my loud children across the way at the park. Okay, ciao, pal.